You guys seem to really enjoy the Borderlands 2 one life video we did for Zero, so I said, you know what, let's try it on Borderlands 3 and attempt this hardest challenge. So I took it upon myself to do a Borderlands 3 one life, and it was a very interesting run. I'm not going to spoil it, don't skip forward. So before we get started, let's go ahead and lay down the rules. Rule number 1, if you die, the run is over. Pretty self-explanatory. Number 2, if you're in fight for your life or in danger, you cannot save quit. Number 3, no guardian rank whatsoever. That includes it for the whole entire run, even after you beat the main story. And number 4, beat the main story, do all of your gearing up in normal mode, and then jump into TVHM, crank it up to Mayhem 10 or 11, whatever you prefer, and beat the main story again, beat all the DLCs, beat the true trials, all of them, beat both true takedowns, and beat Hemovor's the Invincible. If you can do all that, you have completed the one life challenge. Also, I do want to mention I am running a few quality of life mods. I know, run invalid, it's over. But dude, I need dialogue skip in this game, and then some NPCs walk super duper slow to objectives, so we speed up the game engine to make them walk faster. And then for the final mod, I am running the map reloader mod, which is going to make the game load faster when I save quit. I think it goes without saying why I'm running these mods, it's just, you know, good for quality of life. And they don't change the dynamic of the run, so I figured, why not? Anyways, let's jump into the run, so enjoy guys. For my character of choice, we are playing Zane because good survivability, good damage, and one that a lot of people really don't think about is minimal farming. So when it comes to a one life run, when you die, you have to start over, right? And if your route involves a lot of farming along the way, then you gotta do all that again. And while that is fun, sometimes you wanna get through with efficiency. Minimal farming. Anyways, the run starts off pretty straightforward. We run through Covenant Pass, and you might notice my gun's reloading pretty fast. That is a trick called swap reloading, in which when you hold down the trigger and swap away and swap back, your gun will be reloaded. Now, this is one of the gray areas in the rule set. The reason why the powerful trick of swap reloading is allowed is because Borderlands 2 one life does it. Yeah, Borderlands 2, you can drop reload, you know, drop the weapon, pick it back up, and it gets a full mag again. So for the Borderlands 3 community rule set, they said, you know what, you can swap reload. It is a very good trick for Borderlands 3, and we're only going to be using it for the first half of the run. Eventually, it becomes redundant because we are going to be doing something else. Anyways, we make our way to Shiv, and first boss, not that hard. Most people know about the fire barrel and the electrical battery thing. You can hit the boss with both of them, and he just instantly dies. At the Drought, I rush to the vendor and get myself a better shield. And as for my action skills, I go with Cannon and Clone. Thinking about it now, I probably should have done Barrier instead of Cannon, because the Cannon isn't like that crazy for early on, but either way, not a big deal. We're going to be using Cannon and Clone for the whole entire run. Alright, let's dive into the cool route. So, I do want to give a thanks to Willful. He is another one life runner for Borderlands 3. He actually did a lot of the Zane routing for the run, and I did take inspiration from that. So I did use parts of my own route and also his to blend together this routing for this run. So right off the bat, we are going to grab the Dump Truck quest because Dump Truck drops a really good shotgun called TK's Wave. And for whatever reason, Gearbox mega buffed it a long time ago, so I kind of want that big damage for early game. But before we take on Dump Truck, I am a little bit underleveled, so I rushed to the Demo Skaggins. And using the car, I was able to whittle them down pretty low and then jump out and finish them off and get a pretty decent shotgun. Also, I am speccing into Blue Tree first, so I did grab Cold Bore. And with that skill, you get cryo damage every time you swap away and swap back to your weapon. Remember, we are swap reloading, so we are activating Cold Bore on every shot. And as you can see, Dump Truck just dies. Easy peasy. On the second kill, I did get my TK's Wave, and with that, we are set for damage all the way up until Skywell. That's right, this shotgun is ridiculous. Also, I did want the monocle too, because we do want to sit back in one life and not, you know, rush all the combat. And a monocle has a lot of crit damage if you aim down sight. It's going to be really good for that. Now that we're level 5, it's time to head to Ascension Bluffs, and it was now time to take on Mouthpiece. Cold Bore and Monocle. Yep, that is your boss. Over at Tannis, we do have to do a lot of mobbing, so I sit really far back with the Monocle. And the Monocle has crazy high zoom, so it makes it perfect for this situation. We run over Skags to get the biofuel, and then we pick off enemies more with the Monocle. And now we were off to Sanctuary. Oh, we found an Infinity in the vendor, so that was cool. Anyways, for Sanctuary, just a bunch of running around, and then I do want to farm myself a Anointed Shield. So we went to the Crazy Old vendor and bought a Action Skeleton Fire Shield. All I gotta do is shoot my cannon, and I get bonus damage. Now we were off to Promethea. For the Meridian outskirts, we meet with Lorelei, and there's not a whole lot in this map, so I just run around, do the challenges, get the extra XP, and we make our way to the next map. In Meridian Metroplex, there is a lot of required mobbing, so I just sit back and pick them off with the Monocle. And then once we get some of those tougher enemies, I do bust out the TK's Wave. Cold Bore, TK's Wave, it's kinda dumb. Oh, I also pull an Executor out of a chest, but we actually don't need that. After this map, we're going to be going for something much better. Anyways, we make our way to Gigamine, and yeah, he just kind of dies. With Meridian Metroplex done, we did unlock our class mod slot, so we head back to Ascension Bluffs and farm Scrag. If you don't know, Scrag can just fly down, and if you back up with your car, he will just hover in place. It's a pretty well-known strat, and it makes the farm really easy. Anyways, we're farming for the Infiltrator, and we did get it after 18 runs. Pretty unlucky. And with this class mod, when you do any action skill, your shield will break. And broken shield in some specific setup is pretty broken, so you'll see that in a bit. If you know, you know. Anyways, we head back to Meridian Outskirts and do the Nog Potion side quest. It does seem kind of random, but we are doing this to get the Nog Potion Grenade and the Crazy Old Vendor. With that in mind, we can get an action skill in element version for our person and have even more damage. It's probably overkill, but hey, it's a 1 life, I want all the damage I can get. Oh, and this happens too. Hey! Okay, what happened there? There's no enemies around. Wait, barrel. Yeah, next time I'll shoot that barrel. That was pretty funny though. I won't lie. Yeah, while speeding up the slow animation of the NPCs dancing around and whatnot, I was standing right next to a barrel and it almost downed me. That was stupid. Again, I know some people are going to question the whole like using mods to speed up the game for slow moving NPCs, but when it comes to this game, I can't stand it. It really annoys me. I just want to play the video game and not stand there and wait for something I've seen a million times. Fight me, bro. Anyways, we make our way to the Crazy Old Vendor and find a Nog Potion that has action skill and shock. So now when I shoot cannon, we're getting the fire action skill in on my shield and action skill and shock on my grenade. Quite nice. Off to the best map of the game, Athena's. Such a beautiful map. Because I am using the Infiltrator class mod, every time I shoot the cannon, my shield's gonna break. So I figured for this map, I should probably be pretty careful and sit back with the monocle. A level 4 monocle, one-shotting level 14 enemies. We hit level 13, and now Zane becomes even crazier. We have the See in Red skill. Anytime I activate any action skill, I activate all of my kill skills. This skill is one of the best. Anyways, we mob through Athena's and pick up the Holy Spirit side mission. Doing this mission gives you a crap ton of XP, so why not do it? It only takes like 1 minute to do. From here, we mob the rest of the map while doing all the random challenges. And then it was time for Captain Tron. Now, Tron versus Cryo, so my Cold War skill's doing nothing on him. But luckily, we do have those action skill and elements and a TK's wave, which is still really strong. And he dies pretty easily. Boss down. That was Athena's. Done. Alright, now that we've met Ava, we do have access to the Ava Murder Mystery missions. And in this DLC, you have a very powerful shield on the first mission, the Revolter. But in order to get it, we have to kill a boss named Sumo. And then this happens. Just don't get barreled. Ugh. Wait, what? Lorelai, please don't die. Oh. Reload. Alright, this DLC isn't free, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't know that Sumo did this shock beam thing if his helmet's on. So that was a pretty close call on the run. I didn't realize that could happen. Look, we have stupid damage right now, but our survivability sucks. Anyways, on run number 8, we do get the Revolter, and now we're looking at Salvador means of damage, you know, early game money shot. We're getting kind of gross on this Sane. So yeah, the synergy here is the Infiltrator class mod. When we activate our action skill, it's going to break our shield. And if we're wearing the Revolter, the shield's going to break and give us the massive bonus from it. 200% shock damage, 50% fire rate. There's a reason why people call this the B shield of Borderlands 3. And this is my gear setup for a very long time. Alright, we make our way to Skywell, and at this point the TK's wave is dropping off pretty hard. I mean, it's doing okay damage still, but the bullet pattern and the bullet speed is not desirable. So in this map we have a boss named Handsome Jackie, and we're going to be farming her. She drops the Nimble Jack, which is a very good Jacob shotgun, and that's going to be a very nice upgrade. We make our way to Katagawa Ball, and yep, check this out. Yep, new shotgun, Revolter, Cold Bore, action skill and shock damage. Yeah, he just dies. Again, we have stupid damage, but our survivability 0. So at this point, our goal is to rush through, kill things before they kill us, and pray for the best. It's a risky playstyle. Oh, and if you're wondering why not spec Salvation, I did. But for early game, it really doesn't heal you like crazy. It's really not till Mayhem mode that you get full healing on every shot. Okay, we make our way to Atlas HQ, and it was time to farm the Power Troopers. These guys are dangerous. I've seen people lose 1 life here. So I did my best to kill them before they kill me, and farming for one specific item, which happened to be the Vanquisher. This item isn't needed for the run, but it's going to make farming much more tolerable with the 20% slide speed while holding it, and I definitely wanted that. We got the Vanquisher, and I should mention too that vault cards do level up during the run. Vault cards you cannot disable, which is quite unfortunate. And I should have mentioned it earlier, but for 1 life runs, we don't allow vault cards. so we cannot grab ourselves a Guardian Angel or any powerful options like that. We make our way to Katagawa Jr., and the fight went pretty well. Oh, I learned recently too, the one that throws the distortion grenade is the real one. So whenever you see that, you know which one to shoot. It was now time for Control Snore, or sorry, that's a different game. It was now time for Neon Arterial, which driving map, nothing happens. So we make our way to the Rampager, and he dies pretty easily with the Nibblejack. And we were off to Eden 6. Hey, I know a lot of people dislike this planet, but I'm actually a fan of it. It has a lot of cool skips, and also because we are skipping dialogue, it's way more tolerable. And the dialogue really was one of the reasons why it dragged on for so long. We do meet up with Wainwright, and he's like, yo, Hammerlock got kidnapped, bro. So now we're off to the Anvil to save Hammerlock. The Anvil is a pretty scary map, especially when you have no shield at all times. So I do my best to mob very carefully, and we meet up with Tiny Tina. After collecting all the ingredients for her bomb pizza, we take it over to the Warden door. We blow it up and destroy the boss using the same setup. And now we were off to Jacob's estate. Yeah, I'm not doing the skip here. I know, surprising coming from me, but for one life, I do not want to be hovering over the void. So, no skip, dude. I will take the slow lift. That is fine. It was time for Billy the Anointed, and dude, I almost got same framed. Luckily, we do have health gate, so we didn't die. But yeah, that was unexpected. We head back to Floodmore Basin to meet up with Clay, and this part's just a bunch of mobbing. There was a lot of sniper enemies, so I was just constantly getting health gated. Like, the mobbing isn't hard, but last thing I want is to be down from really far away, and then I can't get a second win. Anyways, the mobbing goes fine, and then we were off to Fort Sunshine. It was at this point I realized how bad my survivability was. Like, dude, I have no healing, so I was considering to go back and get a crit or a hail to heal, but I decided to be stubborn and just push through. Also, I nearly died here too. If I would have stayed on the lift, I would have passed by and lost my second wind. So I jumped to the roof, got a second wind, and then I had to do the parkour to get back into Fort Sunshine. We're good, but I'm glad we survived. Anyways, in Fort Sunshine, I was really hoping to get a first try face puncher from Moldoc, but he didn't drop it, so we'll have to come back for that later. We need that for a specific strat, and you'll be seeing that later on. So off to Voracious Canopy. In this map, you have to grab some live wires that put you in a fight for your life. Like, it's a required fight for your life. So I put Clone in the previous room to hopefully get a second win on the Ratch, and it worked out. Now, I do know that the bot can come over and revive you, but I don't trust it, man. I've actually had one time in a casual run where the bot came by and didn't actually revive me. Anyways, mobbing, boss time. I two-shot Genevieve. Oops. At this point, the Nibblejack's now 7 levels under, so we head back to Skywell and farm some ludograms. There's a boss in the back of the map called Dinklebot, which is a reference to Destiny 2, and he will drop ludograms, which give you a random chance for a really good item. After getting a few, I head back to Crazy Earl and drop off the ludograms, and he drops me a nice butcher. Apparently this weapon got a buff at some point, and it's now kinda dumb, so that is my new weapon of choice. Alright, off to Ambermire. In this map, I do grab the Sellout side mission. This mission too gives you a crap ton of XP, so we are going to be doing that. So what we do is place Clone down and go in and click the button, and right as I click it, I warp out of the box and we don't die. Clone took one for the team. Mobbing, mini-boss. Archimedes dies. So sad. We go back to Floodmore Basin, talk to Clay again, and we were now off to the Black Barrel Cellars. A bit more mobbing later, we do take on Aurelia, and with the Butcher, it almost feels like cheating, I won't lie. We are too strong for our own good. Salvador would be proud. Hi Tannis, blah blah blah, Grave Ward.
For a monster, get a monster.
I'm not even gonna say it. So with our really good damage, I wanted to farm Grave Ward for level 30, and during the farm my ultimate goal was to find a Snowdrift artifact. Luckily, we found one on run 5, and I was super happy about that. Oh, thank you game. Now the real reason I want level 30 is because up ahead we have a very strong option for a gun coming up, and that is the Hellwalker. They mega buffed it a few years back, and to this day the community still questions, why did they buff it? Like, it was already stupidly good, and now it's even stupidly-er good. I made that word up. So, we're going back to Pandora and getting the Hellwalker. We head over to the Splenderlands, and then we find Road Dogg. This guy is the dedicated source for the Hellwalker, but unfortunately, he has 3 different drops. Crowded loopholes. But we get a first try. Yep, I don't get it, but that's cool. We now have that one-shot damage again, and it feels really good, and we take out Big Donnie pretty fast. As for Carnivora, I just ran through the map and just skipped everything pretty much, and it was time to take on the giant car thing. Honestly, this fight's not hard at all, it's just the enemies that can destroy your vehicle that's the difficult part, but it went well, and we headed to the Guts of Carnivora. From here, I do a really old skip found back in the day, which is a clone skip, and while this really isn't worth it in a speedrun, in one life, I can skip that walkway with all the fire on it. It's a safer route. As for Agonizer, you guessed it, we have damage, the boss dies. Oh, we got the dedicated loaded dice drop, but I am not throwing away 75% of my HP. I'm good. For the next map, we had the Conrad's Hold, and I decided to do a little bit of a risky skip. Your choices are either go around and deal with a bunch of mobbing and jump over a hole, or do a really scuffed mantle on top of this gate and clone warp up to the top. I think you know which one I did. It worked out, and I'm glad we didn't like fly over the gate and fall into the hole. From here, I do my really cool but useless strat of using the cold shoulder rockets to destroy the Kooplings. Like, I don't think it really saves time, but it looks really cool. And then we had the Sandblast Scar, which is everybody's favorite driving map. I'm gonna go ahead and show you everything. With Sandblast Scar done, it was time to head to the Cathedral of the Twin Gods. Not much here, just another mobbing map, so with the Hellwalker, we do have decent healing now. So using the Salvation skill, I can jump back up to full HP. Quite nice. As for Troy, we wiped him off the face of Pandora, and we were off to Necrotafeo. And we're almost done with the main story. We say hi to Typhon de Leon, and then do a little bit more mobbing. And then we take on General Tron. Dude, I can't even keep up with the commentary. He's already dead. Sliding, sliding, sliding. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Tassindir rune's done. As for Pyre of the Stars, just a mobbing map. I don't really think I need to show it off. Like, ever since I got the Hellwalker, there's been, like, no close calls at all. So, yeah, we finished this map pretty fast, and it was time for the final boss, Tyreen. Apparently, I didn't know this, but if you overkill the eyeball on top, Tyreen gets locked in her immune phase for a really long time. So I stood around for about a minute, and then eventually I was able to finish off the kill. It was pretty funny, though. Oh, and here's my reaction for beating the main story. Yo, we did it! With the main story done, our goal now is to get to level 72, and so we're gonna head back to Floodmore Basin and get ourselves the Face Puncher. My luck with this farm was really bad, and I didn't get it until run 18, but we finally got it. Now, why the Face Puncher? What's the point? Well, like I said in the intro, I want to find a, like, very efficient route. So ideally, we want to get to level 72 without having to refarm gear to, you know, do the XP farm. And the one life save strat we're going to be doing is the Mother of Groggins. If you don't know, this enemy is a Game of Thrones Easter egg, and big spoiler from the show, I'm just going to say it, the show's been out for so long now. In the show, the Mother of Dragons gets stabbed at the very end, she dies. So as an Easter egg in Borderlands 3, they make her one-shottable with any melee hit. So we used the Face Puncher to one-shot her to get the Mayhem 11 XP, and we can use that same level 20-something Face Puncher all the way up until level 72. Oh, so good. Also, because we are doing one life, we have to make sure we're safe before we save quit. So what I do is clone warp back to my clone after getting the kill, and then from there you're in a safe room so enemies don't attack you and you're good to save quit. Yeah, this XP farm's very mindless and repetitive, but after 2 hours we get to level 72 and the farm's finally done. Oh, in case you're wondering why I didn't get the XP booster from the Science Machine, the Science Machine's banned in the Community One Life rules, and I think it's because you can accumulate so many points in many playthroughs. So technically, somebody could cheat and just dump points into everything they want for the Science Machine boosters. So yeah, with the rule set, we couldn't use boosters, but that's fine. Anyways, now that we're level 72, it's time to spec a full-blown clone build. That's right, we're going to be using the Mayhem Scaled Clone to do all of my damage. But unfortunately, I don't have any gear, all of my stuff dropped off. So I used the gun to get on-level stuff and sell it off for good money. And while looking through the loot, I am looking for a Mantis Cannon damage annoyant, and it has to be on a sniper. You'll see why in a second. We do find one, and then I head over to Moxie's Bar to get the crit SMG. So we spam the tip jar, and eventually we do get one. This gun is stupidly strong and easy to get, and it will be a safe backup for the farm we're doing up ahead. Again, I gotta give a big thanks to Willful for finding the strat. So Willful found that if you go to Atlas HQ and take on Katagawa Jr., if you have a Revolter and the Mantis Cannon damage annoyant, you can one-shot Katagawa Jr. with the cannon. Yeah, so it works because Mantis Cannon annoyant is actually 300% damage, not 150 on the card. So it's doing a lot more than it says, and with the Revolter, that shock damage is stupid. With that in mind, I have access to easy Mayhem 11 gear, but the real reason we're here is for the Sandhawk. If you don't know, the Sandhawk is a sniper in this game, and it's stupidly strong. And we need that for a boss up ahead. So we farm for a bit, find a few artifact upgrades, and eventually our Corrosion Sandhawk. I was looking specifically for Corrosion. And from there, we were ready for the next farm. We have all the gearing up to do right now. But before we start the next farm, I do have a lot of money now after farming Katagawa Jr., so we go and upgrade all of our SDUs. Alright, so I want to get myself a Shock Backburner. There is a reason for it, so with the new Corrosion Sandhawk, we can easily farm Agonizer using the clone, and while farming for the Shock Backburner, I did find myself a Crater EMP5, so that will be the replacement for my Vanquisher. We actually got pretty lucky on the farm and got it after 19 kills. I picked that up, and we were off to go reroll the Anoint on it. Now, from what I heard, the only Anoint that applies to clone is going to be the Splash Action Skill End, and we were fortunate enough to get it really fast. From here, we head back to the Splinterlands and pick up the mission Just Desserts. During this mission, you find a boss named Queen Antoinette, You might see where this is going with the build. With the transformer, you have 100% shock immunity, so when the clone shoots the shock backburner, it will do ridiculous damage and also never damage the clone. Remember, the clone has a copy of our current shield, so he also has the transformer on. Really, really good. Anyways, we got the transformer after 11 runs, and we were now off to go farm the P-nade. Even though we don't throw grenades ourselves, clone can throw grenades, and with that in mind, we can debuff the enemies with the P-nade and get more damage. Now, we did drop the playthrough back to Mayhem 1 because we want to make sure the P-nade's not too high of damage. Otherwise, clone will throw the grenade and down himself. We don't want that. Also, because we are playing on Mayhem 1, there is a chance the grenade could drop not anointed, and if that's the case, I can't put a damage anoint on it. Luckily though, the second P-nade drop was anointed on run 25, and from there I rerolled it to get the action skill and radiation damage on it. Oh, and for the transformer, it dropped with action skill and cryo damage, so we didn't even have to reroll that. Good enough. At this point, I'm kind of done with my super underleveled Revolter, so we go back to Sumo and do the backburner transformer strat, and as you can see, the damage on it's pretty good, and clone doesn't die. And we do pull a brimming Revolter on run number 4, and I thought, that's good enough, we'll take it. From here, we do reroll the Revolter to get the action skill Stud Anoint, and we get it pretty fast. Luckily for grenades and shields, you don't have like too many anoints to roll from. It's only weapons that are really, really bad to find a specific anoint on. Next on my shopping list, I do want to get a Free Radical. If you don't know, this is one of the most overpowered items in the game. It is a Malawon pistol that has really, really high damage, and also it's locked to shock, so Transformer Shield, boom, we can't down ourselves with it, and neither can clone. In order to get the Free Radical, you do have to beat the 3rd Ava Murder Mystery mission, and I could show you all the progress through all the missions, but we're on Mayhem 1 with Mayhem 10 gear. There were no close calls, I was just one-shotting the content. And eventually, we make our way over to Beef Pliskin, the guy who drops the Free Radical. Now, I wasn't around much for the end of the BL3 lifecycle, so I had no idea how bad this boss was. No, he's not hard to kill, but he drops his loot off the map when you kill him, every other farm. That is so annoying. You might think, oh, just go to the Lost Loot Machine, reclaim it, right? Well, that's another one of the gray areas for One Life rules, so because of the chance that somebody can play offline and, like, fill the Lost Loot Machine with other stuff they didn't get on their One Life character, that could give them a cheaty advantage, so the Lost Loot Machine is banned for One Life rules, too. It sucks, but I understand it. Anyways, we bump our Mayhem level up to 11, and we farm Beef Pliskin. And due to him dropping the Free Radical into the void every other farm, I settled for a ×2 version of it because I wanted to get out of here. I was not a happy farmer. Either way, the pistol's really strong, and it'll do. I was very low on Iridium, so I went over to Voracious Canopy to punch some purple rocks, and after a bit, I was able to reroll for the Splash Anoint on the Free Radical. From here, we were off to Jackpot DLC. I dropped it down to Mayhem 1 because I just want to burn through it and get to the big farms. And again, I was just one-shotting the content with my Mayhem 10 guns, and along the way, I made sure to do all of the Ember challenges. Doing those gives you a really good weapon, and we'll talk about that once we get to that point. Now, the other big reason we're here is for the Seen Dead class mod, and the best farm for that's going to be Loco Chantel, which is at the very end of the DLC. Oh, and class mods cannot be anointed, so you're best off just staying on Mayhem 1. Like, you can put it on Mayhem 10, but you're going to have the same drop chances. Anyways, at first I was going for a Seen Dead with action skill damage on it for my clone, but then somebody in chat told me that clone gets splash damage on the class mod too, and I never fact-checked that, but I took their word for it. So eventually I did find a decent one that had splash damage on it, and that was good enough. Also, the Seen Dead combo is really OP. If you just shoot the enemy with bullets, you can activate all of your kill skills. And with that, we're going to have good damage, and I'm going to have pretty much infinite healing. Very, very nice. After getting that beautiful, beautiful roll, it was time to farm the Ember's Purge. So we bump up our game back to Mayhem 11 because we do want a Mayhem 10 version of this gun. And upon blowing up the statue for the final Ember challenge, you are mailed a copy of the Ember's Purge weapon. Unfortunately though, I failed to put my save on read only. If you don't know, read only allows you to farm one-time things over and over. So yeah, I failed to put my save on read only, which means the roll I got was a very low damage roll. I mean, it's not that big of a deal because it already does stupid damage. So I had no choice but to take the one I got. So this weapon, if you shoot the enemy, you have a chance to spawn a fire puddle under them. And the fire puddle does really, really high damage because Gearbox buffed it in the past. But I don't know if they factored in giving this thing to a clone, because with Mayhem 10 or 11 scaling on your clone, the clone does the most disgusting damage with this gun. This gun is broken. And we're going to want that for some really tough bosses up ahead. Anyways, we are done with the Jackpot DLC, and I looked at my gear set and said, yeah, my relic really isn't that great, and I would like a better one. And I thought, you know what, let's just go get a Victory Rush. Why not? So we went back to Jacob's estate and did that mushroom side mission, I forget the name of it. And from there we can farm a boss named Azalea, however you say it. And we ended up finding a Victory Rush with mag size, area of effect damage, and movement speed. Aha, good enough. Now that we're all geared up, it was finally time to take on the true endgame challenge for the One Life. We now have to beat the main story, all of the campaign DLCs, all of the true trials, all of the true takedowns, and Hemovorous on Mayhem 11. Well, technically you could do Mayhem 10 too, but nobody likes modifiers. But yeah, we gotta beat pretty much all of the content in the game on max difficulty. So we head over to TVHM and it was finally time for a true challenge. Yeah, about that. For non-scaled content, you know, like true trials or true takedowns or whatever, the regular mobbing in this game on maximum difficulty, Mayhem 11, with a full-blown build is easier than doing a new game run. That's not an exaggeration. My bullets are destroying everything. I'm getting this infinite healing pretty much. Like, look at this. I killed the first boss faster than I did in normal mode. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to discuss the whole entire playthrough again because it's pretty anticlimactic, I won't lie. If you want a taste of what happened for the whole playthrough, just look at Mouthpiece. The Ember's Purge puddle hits for hundreds of millions of damage. And we do this for all the bosses. Like, the hardest part of the TVHM Mayhem 11 run for the main story was running over skags. Car scaling's pretty bad, so I had to run over them for like 10 minutes. But anyways, enjoy a montage of me killing all the bosses in the main story. Just like that, the main story was done, and not even one fight for your life. Next up, we have the DLCs, and I wanted to go in order, so I started with Jackpot again. And so, we were off to Jackpot DLC. Again, the mobbing is super easy and no trouble at all, and that really does make up most of the DLC. Eventually, we make our way to Impound Deluxe, and in this map later on, there's a section of low gravity, and so there are many spots you can fall off and die. Gotta be careful. Later in the map, there is a bit of mobbing to do, and I was walking backwards and shot the wall. And with the free radicals shock damage, I put myself in a fight for your life. And later on, I died. Dyed my hair a different color because I was a little bit bored of the one I had before. Looking good, Zane. Oh yeah, that fight for your life, I got a second win. No issues. Right here, you have to jump across the void, and I made sure to place clone before I did the jump. So if somehow I did fail the jump, I could just warp back. It's a good failsafe. We make our way all the way to Trash Atlantis and take on Scraptrap Prime. And as I was getting the kill, this barrel was tumbling towards me. And then, yep, I died. Died of laughter because it was so funny. I didn't expect that. Luckily, we had the transformer on, so the shock barrel did nothing to us. But for real, where did that barrel come from? Mobbing, and now we were at Jack's secret. Fabricator was super duper easy, just spam the free radical, and he died pretty fast. And at this point, we're at the end of the DLC, so let's take on Jackpot. But first off, you have to kill level 2 Freddy. I still don't know if this is a glitch. Like, is he level 2 due to a bug in the code? Or is that the whole joke, like, he's supposed to be really, really weak? I have no idea. As for Jackpot, super duper easy. He does have many phases, and the fight does go on for a bit. But thanks to the Good Misfortune skill, I am able to keep my clone out for the whole entire fight. With that, Jackpot DLC was done, and on to the next. Hammerlock DLC, Wedding DLC, Gunslub Tentacles DLC, whatever you want to call it. Right away, I did the mobbing, and then Gage just glitched out. Yeah, I don't know what that was. We made our way over to Curse Haven and encountered our first problem. I forgot this DLC has Livewire Crichidons, and they resist shock damage. And that's my whole entire build, like the free radicals only shock. Thank goodness we do have action skilling, cryo, and radiation. So we do have enough damage to take him out, but it's not super fast. We fight our first mini-boss named Vincent, and this guy has a lot of HP. Even with this super good build, he takes a while to gun down. But we got him. Wainwright gets possessed, and we were off to Dustbound Archives. While being sus in the vents, I did almost forget that I have splash damage for almost all my items, so I swapped over to the Crater EMP5 to shoot the barrel. We make our way to the first major boss fight, and Empowered Scholar isn't bad at all. You might think, oh, you have to do scary parkour over the void and shoot out the crystals, but you actually don't have to. You can shoot all the crystals from the ground. You do have a line of sight to all of them. The boss dies with ease, and we are getting legendaries a lot now, so I'm not going to point out every single drop and what it is. So it's all good. I'm not, missing legendaries in the video. I'm just not pointing them out. We head back to Skitterball Basin, and why is this map so large? Anyways, we find Isda, one of the best NPCs in the game. Love this guy. And we were now off to Cankerwood. We get to the end of the map and take on the boss Wendigo. And this guy has a lot of HP and damage. I would argue he's more difficult than the final boss of this DLC. Unfortunately, he resists fire, so we can't do the Ember's Purge strat. So I kept running circles and shooting the Free Radical. And at the same time, I was watching my clone's HP. Wendigo does this fiery thing to where if I don't move clone or teleport clone out of the fire, he will die. I kept a close eye on that, and the fight went pretty well, and eventually, he fell. Boss down. It was time for Nagol Nishai. We head over to the electrified Crigidons, and this is where I just gave clone the Ember's Purge and let him take him out. Because again, they resist shock, and that's not good. Anyways, a bunch of mobbing later, we make our way to the boss. For the first part of Empowered Gron, he's actually invincible. So you just need to stand around and wait for a bit, and eventually he'll become active. In the meantime, I was just running circles, because I mean, what else am I going to do? He becomes damageable, and we take him down. And now we were headed to the final bit of the DLC. Oh, and apparently if you open the trap drawer with the grenade, and then open the correct one right after, the grenade kind of glitches out and doesn't blow up. So that had me a little bit worried, because I have to jump down there, and I'm hoping it would go off, and luckily it did. So we were safe. For the Sam and Tom mini-boss, I gave clone the Ember's Purge, and they just stand in the puddle. Easy peasy. And now it was time for the final boss of this DLC, Eleanor in the Heart. Starting off, Eleanor is damageable, and, you know, she puts her shield up, so we have to wait on that. And then she does a really long animation of filling the arena with blood. From there, I just kept shooting the crystal weak point, and it was going pretty well. But then, my clone ran out. Yeah, this is the first time the boss fight has went on for so long. Clone actually runs out. Anyways, I run circles and eventually get clone back and place him down, and I just kept shooting at the crystals. Things were still going well until... Clone's dead. Wait, what? How did clone die? Oh, dude, come on. Dude, I didn't look at clone. I thought clone was fine. I did. And then when I went to fight for your life, I saw he was dead. I got hit by the tentacle, but then, like, I feel like I didn't get my HP back. Yeah, hold on, let's watch it back. I wonder if I shot the tentacle and then my splash killed me. He must have instantly died when I placed him, and I didn't see it. I should have seen that. I should have saw I was, like, low, and clone was, like, regenning. That's my bad. I should have seen that, but I didn't. Full HP, full shield. Health gated. I shoot, I heal back up. But guess what? I was already health gated, so my new health gate wasn't cooled down yet. So that's when the boss was okay to bypass the health gate. But yeah, see, in Fight for Your Life, I have no damage. It was a good run. Dude, I made it really far. That's a new PB for sure. I'm happy. I'm happy. 21 hours of progress. That was 21 hours to get to this point. Dang. Yep, I died. To be fair though, I did not plan this fight at all. I just kind of jumped in and thought, you know, we got damage and we'll be fine. Due to the immune phases and all the fight mechanics, this is the first time that clone runs out and I don't have a backup. When Zane's in Fight for Your Life, he really doesn't have the best damage, so that was a miscalculation on my half. As soon as I placed clone after I got him back, he immediately got wiped out by a tentacle slap. I was so distracted during the fight, I didn't see it happen. And I never did have a chance to mention it until now, but Zane has a skill called Old U. And with that skill, if you're in Fight for Your Life and your clone's out, you can press the clone button to despawn your clone and give yourself a second wind. That was my whole plan for the playthrough. If I happen to go down and I cannot get a second wind, I would sacrifice the clone. But silly me, I wasn't watching and clone was dead, so I did not have that opportunity. Also, the reason I went down is not because of the tentacle slap, but instead it was the tentacle hitbox hitting my face, and the splash damage from the free radical downed me. And in case you're wondering why we don't have shock immunity, it's because we have action skill and cryo and radiation, so that part of the splash will down me. Either way, it was a good run, I learned from it, and if I ever attempt the one life challenge again, I will make sure not to do that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I definitely had fun on this playthrough, and I hope you did too. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and peace out.